recent state of real estate events, we have heard a lot about businesses, even non-for-profits, turning to professionals to manage physical facilities, the real estate owned or leased. Here now is Tim Michel, Principal, Director of Property Management, to offer insights into the property management side of commercial real estate. Tim.
Thanks, Gary. We do have an interesting environment in which to do business. You've heard Fritz and John both describe the economic and financial conditions and the impact on the industrial and office real estate markets. One thing they've identified that fits property management: cash is king, and capital is very precious. In today's environment where rents are not increasing or even decreasing, there's a renewed interest on controlling expenses while increasing tenant satisfaction. This past year, we've seen tenant bankruptcies and tenant defaults, as well as tenants just blowing out in the middle of the night. The good news is we've gotten to know more and more attorneys this past year. And if that's the highlight of the year, that should tell you how tough the year has been. So it has really been back to the basics in property management. We're focused on staying on top of our receivables. We have to get cash in the door. We're also rebidding every major vendor contract to bring the best possible pricing to our projects. Most large projects have been and will continue to be pushed off until they're absolutely necessary. The big buzz the past few years has been about sustainability or green buildings. These initiatives still exist, but are focused almost exclusively around energy. Owners are still willing to invest capital that results in energy savings. Most owners are looking for a payback on their investments of less than 2 years. Let me add to the financial picture by bringing property taxes into the mix. This hasn't been easy, as most of you are aware. Changes in legislation occurred in 2006 with the assessments that were payable in 2007. This prompted a huge public backlash. Well, that outcry or even outrage caused Governor Daniels to intervene, and he directed a complete reassessment of Marion County. Delays in assessing and billing for real estate taxes began and continue. Remember, your final billing for 2007 taxes payable in 2008 were just received in June of 2009. That's the good news. The bad news is when owners received their final assessments in June of 2009, there was a substantial increase. It appears that the taxing authorities are the only people in the United States that still believe there's a run-up in commercial property values. So now we have to appeal. The delays continue today with the hope of getting back on schedule by the end of 2010. Distressed assets were a growing business in 2009. Nationally, there will be $800 billion worth of CMBS debt maturities in the next 2 years. If there are not substantial changes to the capital markets, the special servicers for these CMBS pools could become some of the largest owners of commercial property in the country. There will be increased demand for receivership services while traditional banks and these special servicers go through the foreclosure process. While Indianapolis may be more stable than many parts of the country, we are not immune. In fact, our office has 7 receiverships currently, and we expect many more in the future. Speaking of the future, as far as predictions for 2010, I see pressure will increase to retain tenants and contain costs. Energy savings initiatives will continue. The wild uncertainty of property taxes the past few years should begin to stabilize in 2010. Property management's client mix will change with more and more banks and special servicers driving real estate decisions. And demand for receivership services will continue to increase. Thank you and have a great 2010, and I'll see all of you at the bar.
Tim, thank you very much. Certainly sad to hear about the need for increased receivership services, but the push to use energy more efficiently and effectively will no doubt have an impact on Indiana business throughout the state of Indiana.